The first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes, the regular meeting of January 19th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Destruge. Are there any corrections, deletions, additions, omissions?
Just the date on the heading, it shows January 20th as opposed to January 19th, and also on the footnotes of each subsequent page.
Okay. So any other corrections, deletions, omissions?
I have one, Mayor.
Okay, Chief?
Under staff, cross out McCallum and put in Adam Markowitz. That's the only one I have.
Okay. Anything else?
I can do it here for now.
Okay, seeing no further corrections. All in favor of the acceptance of the minutes as corrected?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Action items, there are no action items. Chief, Fire Chief's budget report.
Okay, so this month's budget, I was a little bit worried, but actually, when I was going through all the numbers, we're actually in pretty good shape. If I compare this month with February of 2019, we're at 58.6% of the budget, and this year, exact same time, we're at 58.3%. So we're actually doing a little bit better than we were last year. And the difference month to month is around 7.5% to 8%. If you continue on that trend, we will stay right around a 97, 98% for our budget. So I think we're doing pretty good even through all this COVID stuff.
Good.
Good to see that.
So that's it for the budget. If I have any questions.
I don't have any questions. It sounds like everything's in order. Either the commissioners have a question regarding the budget.
No questions, sir.
No, but perhaps a comment that you're right on target on the budget, even though the overtime for this fiscal year seems to have been high.
Right.
Particularly in December, had a very high variance.
Well, we could explain that because of COVID last year, a lot of the members did not take any vacation or holidays, but they had to get them in by the end of the year. So you could see the increase between like September, October, November, December, which should now start to decrease.
Right.
So
it already has. Yeah, January is decreased.
right.
Yeah, that was my only comment. Thank you, Chief.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Bentley.
Nothing else, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next item is the Assistant Fire Chief of Administration.
Good afternoon, everybody. Albie Bassett here. No camera. First thing, I was able to get a assistance to firefighter grant in by last Friday. Took the opportunity to figure out our fitness equipment status and got a list together and trying to replace some of our fitness equipment that's 10 plus years old. So that was the first grant that went in. We're currently working, myself and one of the inspectors, Luca Fiola, is trying to replace the pub ed trailer, so that we got until the end of February to finish that grant up. So hopefully next month I'll be able to say we got the grant submitted in time. So both of those are in progress. I continue to work on the insurance service organization audit. Just basically working on grabbing data for that to give us our rating for insurance costs. Not much new to report, just, working the new data. Been trying to work with the water companies to get their information on flow testing data and so on. So ISO has been helping me with that. So those are pretty much the two big things that we've been working on here on the admin side.
Good.
Any questions?
Sounds good.
Chief, just since Deputy Assistant Chief Bassett mentioned the water companies, have you had a conversation with Corporation Counsel relative to the fire hydrant leasing or rentals or whatever you want to call it?
Assistant Chief Bassett is in contact with the water companies. He can explain better.
I was actually waiting for the question. Yes. So I did reach out after the planning commission meeting. They honestly don't, they told, exactly what I assumed they were going to say, their cost of their people to continually do maintenance on the hydrants and upgrade the system, flow testing, getting the data, which we need for ISO. The personnel cost is included in that. They do replace about 20 hydrants a year. So they continue to upgrade their system so that it's a regular replacement program that they do, replacing them obviously from the however deep they are, the whole stem and the barrel of the hydrant. They do not charge us for an assumed volume of water. So they really don't have a number on how much water they use. So I asked that. So that's, it was very vague. What they actually do. They don't have anything written down. So we're still working on trying to get a few other answers as far as what is, what else comes with that. But that's basically what it is. I did pose the question if we chose not to pay, and it went silent. So they didn't, I don't think they ever had that answer before. So, but that was the one water company, and another water company that we really don't deal with. Talk to them because we do have a few hydrants in our town, and they were pretty close to saying the same thing on the regular maintenance program, the hydrant flushing program, and so on, and any damage that's done on a hydrant. So that's where we are so far on that. I did not go into asking about a contract. Once we get some answers, then we can, myself and the chief can, move on the corporation council from there.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that dialogue about the contract because as you can see that when they decide to increase fees, it seems they just go ahead and do it. I'd rather have some sort of a guarantee that it's going to be a fixed cost for a period of time, even if they go up a certain percentage every year, 2 or 3% a year. At least we know what's coming and we can properly budget for it. This was a bit of a surprise when they increased the amount by so much.
Right.
Yeah, and absolutely, and that was the South Norwalk, second district that came fast. But I didn't do the percentages, but the first district does have a set percentage that they've been going up on a regular basis. I didn't figure out that percentage, but it's a like a $10,000 increase, on a regular basis, 10 to 15,000 annually. That's what they've been going up.
Wow.
Okay. Any questions from commissioners?
No.
Thank you for that report. It's helpful. And we'll probably visit this at the next meeting.
And we'll have more hopefully with the other company also.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the Assistant Fire Chief of Operations, Assistant Chief McCabe.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. We have an ongoing effort to update and revise department standard operating procedures. This month, we were looking at the rapid intervention team, our Mayday procedure and training, and also emergency response to highways. continuing to replace and maintain the firefighter personal protective equipment, looking at turnout gear and helmets, and also personal escape systems for the firefighters. Also in the process of developing a standard training procedure and tactics for the department's 2 ladder truck companies. That also in anticipation of the new ladder truck, which will be coming in at the end of the year. As for calls for the month of January, we did 502 calls, averaging 16.2 per day, broken down into 15 fires, 32 rescues, 282 emergency medical calls, 24 hazardous conditions, 20 public assist, 42 good intent, and 85 automatic alarms.
Wow.
Calls of note, we did have 1 minor bedroom fire. A bed which was up against a space heater caught fire down on Ryan Avenue. The occupant of the house actually dragged the burning mattress out of the house to the backyard, which is where Engine 5 found it when they arrived on scene. So that effort was mostly just continuing to extinguish the mattress and then ventilating smoke from the house. We had a city carting truck which caught fire while it was on its route. And per procedure, company procedure, the driver dumped the load in the street. We responded and extinguished that, and then also used booms to protect the storm drains from the runoff, so we wouldn't have any hazardous runoff entering the sewer system. Cleanup from that operation was assisted by Public Works and also city carting personnel. We had 3 additional vehicle fires during the month, 2 vehicle extrications, and 1 elevator rescue. Any questions on those?
Sounds like I had another busy month, Chief.
It was a busy month.
Yeah.
Do you know what caused the fire inside the city carting truck? Was it somebody threw something away, or was it a malfunction of the vehicle?
No, it seemed like it was something within the garbage load that the truck was carrying that was smoldering and then caught fire while the driver was on his route.
Okay.
Throw away your ashes.
Mhm.
Huh.
Any further questions from the commission?
No,
And then Assistant Chief McCabe, then what do you do? Call the DPW with a bucket loader to come over and
Yes, Public Works responded with some equipment to help clean the street. City Carting also had their supervisor there and their personnel there to assist with that. And then for the final cleanup, Public Works responded a street sweeper to get everything cleaned up and get the road safe. So it was closed down for quite a while, but they got everything taken care of.
all right, very good. Next on the agenda, Fire Marshal.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Kirk Donald, Deputy Fire Marshal here for Fire Marshal Sawyer. So for the month of January, we performed a total of 69 inspections, sent out 37 new notifications. There was 12 plan reviews done for an income of $600, 7 liquor license renewals for a total of $455, and total income for the month was $1,055. As far as fire marshal investigations, we had responded to 4 fires and 1 incident involving a fire code issue for a total of 5 investigations for the month of January.
Just for the edification of the commission, what do you do during a liquor permit inspection?
As far as a liquor license renewal inspections, there is a standard checklist basically that we file. Usually involves, they have to produce several reports, fire alarm report, a sprinkler report if it's a sprinkler building, There's tests that are done annually, not just on the sprinkler system, fire alarm system, but emergency lights and exit signs, so that if the power goes out, it basically verifies that those fixtures will stay lit for the required 90 minutes as required by code, as well as checking for potential electrical issues. But for most places that do follow the renewal, it's not their first time. So they usually have the paperwork all in order for us when we get there. And it's usually just a walkthrough to ensure, like I say, those items are functional and that, there is no blocked egress, the rear access, basements, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. It's kind of interesting to know exactly what goes into an inspection. How are we doing on our overall inspections? Are we keeping pace or are we a little behind?
So I'm looking at the numbers that were put out for the year, and compared to last year, right now we're pretty consistent with the last couple months. Just the beginning of last year, we'll say this time last year, we had some decent numbers because it was pre-COVID, and we had our part-timers. So we had some really high numbers at February of last year. Since then, the inspections, they've come down, averaging around 100 or so. I'll throw that out as a ballpark per month. But what you notice now with the annual summary is that the number of notifications are going up now. More notices are being sent out, that inspections are coming, that ones that had got, put off last year due to the state's mandates and whatnot. The notifications are now being sent out again that we're coming back around.
Yep. Any questions from the commission?
No, sir.
I guess following up on your
Yeah.
question, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to know if we have gotten ahead of the backlog that we had a couple of years ago, which was the reason why we brought in all the part-timers. Are we on schedule or are we still backlogged?
No, we did catch up for that particular year. The part-timers, we brought them in a couple of years ago. So right now we're not where we stood then. But again, the state had, mandated due to COVID that certain inspections were put off. But now those are coming back around again. So it's not quite as good as we were when a couple years back when the part-timers were in full swing. But we're getting there.
Okay.
I just
Thank you.
mentioned that you start school on Friday.
Oh, we do have one. Thank you, Chief. We do have one recently promoted fire inspector, and he will be starting Fire Marshal school this Friday. He'll be starting with the fire investigation portion and then proceeding on to fire code.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Emergency management, Mr. Luca.
Thank you. Just a few things. Obviously, we've been inundated with winter weather, and more is to come this week. For the most part, again, it's that one big storm. Everything is pretty manageable.
My office, and that's done.
I'm currently working with DPW and dispatch because Eversource has a new municipal reporting hub that once we do all the training, get everything set up, in theory, we should be able to actually see our priorities and get a better sense of the status of all of our problem areas. I say in theory, I think once we actually see it in action, that will be a big help. We'll be able to have a few folks as dispatchers and then also be able to have others in the system as viewers. So again, a handful will be able to actually add the streets in the data, and then a wider group will be able to actually see the status, get a better sense, again, in theory, of crews assigned, estimated time of repair, restoration, and everything else. Again, it is relatively new. They've been coming online with a few other features over the past couple months. So hopefully if this does work, it will be a big step for visibility during another big event like ESAAS. Also working with them on doing some, again, the damage assessment track software that we have, and making sure that everybody is refreshed on that software. We have talked about doing maybe a virtual hurricane exercise, possibly in June. I know it feels like months away, but hopefully we can look towards that. Ideally do it in person, but I think realistically we'll have it as a Zoom option. And then another main project is working on the city building guide. So this is the resource book that we have in all city buildings. We have the poster. We've done the training for city employees on lockdown, evacuation, shelter. So there have been a few changes to the program overall, working with police and a few others to get that document updated, and then we'll get that released. And if needed, do a Zoom training. Because again, my guess is we won't be able to do it in person, but we will get all new posters in all the city buildings. Everything will be replaced, and then we'll just get that information out to city employees. And we usually do it at the start of every year. So in January, February, we try to do a refresher, send out the PowerPoint, just to keep it kind of top of mind of employees for overall safety. And then finally, I know, I guess at a couple of the planning meetings, the discussion of the automated weather alert has come up. We did look into it because Code Red does have an add-on option. So different from us doing any of the setup and recording when there's a severe weather event, tornado, severe storm. Again, they have an opt-in only option. So residents could go in, they could pick the weather alert they're interested in, add their information, and then the system automatically pushes out a National Weather Service alert. So it'd be completely hands-off on our end. I did look into the price, and it would be $3,250 as an add-on to what we already pay for Code Red. So I know, like I said, there has been some interest in, again, it may just be a handful of folks that have expressed interest in getting that push automatically for weather events. So again, it is an option if it's something we want to look into down the road. I think there's so many free apps and free services out there. I'm not sure it's entirely necessary, but again, if there's interest, we can pursue it.
Would there be, in regards to that automatic alert, would it be in any other language or just English?
They only do it in English. They have looked at a Spanish option, but they're just not there yet. And partly, I think, because the Weather Service doesn't push their alerts out in multiple languages, it would still have to be, at some point, it would have to be translated. Yeah. So everything comes directly from the National Weather Service and then goes through them and then out to the residents.
I know when we do our Code Red, I wouldn't want to deprive my wife of the pleasure of translating the Code Red into Spanish. But all right, well, that's good to know. You know, we obviously, for a much more homogeneous community, that would be a great option for English only. But for somebody like us, we probably need to wait, or at least hope that they would get the capability of doing Spanish and possibly Haitian Creole or anything like that, because we want to make sure that we alert everybody and give them good information. So, all right, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions?
No,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let me get back on the agenda here. I'm operating on two computers here. I remember the day when I couldn't even look at one. Okay, the training division report. I guess, do we have a training division report today?
Good afternoon.
Okay,
We finished the EMS recertification classes, so those have been completed. The firefighters are in the process now of submitting their paperwork so they can get their certifications. We started and it should be just about done now. We did the second round of the COVID-19 vaccinations. The big difference between the first dose and the second dose has a lot more side effects than what the first dose had. First dose, for the most part, people would have a sore arm. They might feel a little tired, but with the second dose, we found that over half the firefighters that got the second dose had some form of side effect, whether it was body aches, chills, low-grade fever, nausea. So it roughly lasted anywhere from 12 to 24 hours, but we're through the worst of that right now. We started our first phase of ice rescue training. You might have seen on the news, Stanford had a ice rescue several weeks ago where they pulled a couple of people out of a body of water that were in a pickup truck. We have two phases to this. It's an orientation phase and then a practical phase. So far, we've completed the orientation training, and weather permitting, we're going to start the practical portion when the firefighters will go out on the ice and pull another firefighter out of a area that's been cut out. That's going to take place within the next 2 weeks. And then the other thing is we also started, and we're halfway through rapid intervention team training. Basically, rapid intervention team, that's a team of firefighters that are they're on scene for the specific purpose of rescuing a trapped firefighter. So we started doing overview training on that over the last 2 weeks. Next week, we're going to move to a practical portion where they'll have to go in there and rescue a downed firefighter. And that's it so far.
that's interesting. The rapid intervention team, would they be a team that's called only when necessary, and how accessible or how rapid could they respond? Because that seems to be a very critical operation.
So every report of a structure fire, the third due apparatus, the third due engine is designated as a rapid intervention team. So for every time we get a report of a structure fire, we send 3 engines, 2 ladder companies, a rescue company, and a deputy chief. That third due engine company is your designated rapid intervention team.
Okay.
So their sole purpose when they get on scene is to set up a cache of equipment for the sole purpose of rescuing a firefighter should they fall into trouble.
Okay.
So it happens for every report of a structure fire. We have a single apparatus that responds for that sole purpose.
And will all the firefighters be trained, or just a certain select few?
No, the entire department has been trained in the past.
Okay.
We're doing refresher training, but every firefighter, when you come out of the fire academy, you're trained in certain techniques for rescuing a downed firefighter.
Good.
But the entire department is going through the training.
Good.
We've been
I
doing this for
saw-
quite a few years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
We-
Chief?
We've been doing this for quite a few years.
Oh, good.
So everybody, the whole RIT team is part of their mental process as they're responding. They know who's on the RIT and they know what they have to do.
Yeah, I saw that Stanford pickup truck. I was surprised at how far that got out into the water.
Yeah, not only did it get out in the water, but it started to drift. So they literally had seconds before that pickup truck was going to be with us. They were seconds away from being out of reach of that pickup truck.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, when you do the ice rescue training and you have a firefighter that's in a cutout area, do you do a local pond or something?
Yeah. So what we do is we use the old Dolce, which is Lakota Oaks. I think.
Yeah.
So they have a body of water on their property that they allow us to use to conduct the training.
Thursday is going to be 50. This afternoon is going to be 50 degrees. So
Yeah.
actually, I'm looking at it right now. It's 52 degrees, I think.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's what my watch says too.
So we'll be conducting that before over the next couple of weeks.
How many of the firefighters opted for the COVID vaccine?
I will,
Percentage wise or?
well, roughly a little over half. It was close to 70 to 75%, 70 to 70, we'll say between 70 and 80 firefighters in general, in total.
Right. But there, some guys are changing their mind and they're getting the shot, you know, now as opposed to later on. Some want to wait for later on. But I wish it was 100%, but it's not.
I got my first one today.
Yeah, the first one's not bad. You probably have a sore arm tomorrow. It's the second one where we find that if you're going to have a reaction, most of the time it's with the second shot, and that holds true for. I talked to training directors in other departments, and they found the same thing. It's the second shot that has the side effects and some people get no side effects, and some people have flu-like symptoms. So it could go either way.
Well, I haven't had any side effects yet. I just became eligible last week and got it today, but I'll take full advantage of it because I'll tell my wife my arm is too sore to do anything and I'm really tired. So,
I thought you were in the
After-
under 65 group.
Yeah.
pardon me?
I thought you were under 65 group.
Yeah, I wish. I wasn't eligible when they said over 75, but I was eligible the minute they said over 65.
Yeah.
So, but I've been around the block a few times. I take full advantage of every situation I can, and telling my wife my arm is sore and I'm tired. That's part of my repertoire. So,
Yeah.
any questions from the commissioners?
No, sir.
No, but I'll confess that I went to the dentist and had Novocaine, so I used the same excuse. I'm under the influence, so I can't do any chores today.
I'm glad you said under the influence of Novocaine. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say that to a former cop.
Right.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, local 8:30. I see we have Billy Ireland here. Anything from local 8:30? Nothing on the agenda.
Yeah, nothing new. It's been pretty quiet on the union front, which is nice. Just working with the two new assistant chiefs and new director of training, and really trying to promote our guys that haven't gone to get vaccinated to go ahead and get vaccinated. Kind of quelling some mistruths about it and some of the conspiracies, that kind of stuff, and just kind of doing that for now. But in the next few months, we'll probably have more to report on the union front, more kind of what we talked about in last meetings with our fundraisers. We're just kind of like holding back right now because we just don't know. We're definitely going to do a golf outing. We just don't know exactly how it's going to happen. We're hoping, May, June, everything will be kind of a little more open than it is right now. So we're just playing it by ear.
All right. Yeah, just for the to help with your maybe promoting the vaccine. City of Norwalk, we've given out or we've administered probably by the end of today about 2,650 vaccines, and we've had not one a severe reaction. Like was just mentioned, maybe a little fatigue, maybe a little sore arm, but you get a sore arm with any vaccination that you get or any shot in the arm. I've noticed that before. When I was in the Navy, they gave us a bicillin shot, which is a double shot of penicillin. Now, if you want to feel pain, that was pain. But they gave it to you in a place where for the next couple of days, it became difficult to sit down.
Yeah,
So,
it was where that shot was placed in the Navy. That was.
Yeah, exactly. The next morning, everybody
went
was
through
getting out of
that.
the rack and waking up and sitting on their rack, and all you hear throughout the whole barracks was, "Oh."
Yeah.
Okay. Any new business update on the RFP? Oh, I'm sorry, old business building repairs.
Okay, I wish I had a good report, but I don't. The Broad River project at Station 1 has come to a halt. We now have the legal department involved. Matt Sapienza
Sapienza, yeah.
is working with the architects. So a real quick rundown of what happened. This company, this contractor, we went out to bid last January and they were the low bid. They were vetted by the purchasing department, the architects, one of our project managers here within the department. We gave them X amount of days, 50 days to do the work. COVID happened, the project was delayed. Once they started working, doing demo work, they were doing a pretty good job. They were ahead of schedule at that point. Until the last fall, they started to fall behind. They had less and less people show up for work. We could see the quality of the work beginning to deteriorate. They were told they needed inspections by the building department. They kept telling us that they got the inspections. When we actually looked into it, they only got one inspection for the gas line and the kitchen sink. No inspections were done upstairs. And since then, we found several code violations. So we decided that we didn't want to use this company anymore. And for obviously going way over the project limit as far as the days, the quality of work, the failure to do the work required in the contract, the fact that they had no inspections, and when they did, they didn't pass. They were supposed to certify their payroll, and that was never completed. So we're now moving, like I said, moving forward with the law department. There's a couple of ways we could go. One suggestion was to work with the architects, come up with a list of items that need to be finished, have some contractors come in and give us prices for what that's going to cost, have a meeting with the original contractor and say, for instance, it's $50,000 more to finish the job. We're going to take that off of your bid price and see where that goes. If they don't accept that, we'll probably have to get the bonding company involved, and the bonding company has to intervene and pretty much do the same thing. But they have no say, in it. They have to do what the bonding company does. So we haven't started the part where we want to talk to outside contractors to get estimates. We're about a week out for that. Unfortunately, we haven't done any work most of December or January. We're told by the legal department not to do any work until we get all this straightened out. So unfortunately, that's where we are.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Does the construction area create any hazard for our staff?
No, it inconvenienced them for all these months because they don't have their full kitchen. They don't have the lieutenant and captain's offices or restrooms. So what we had to do was we actually transferred the truck company, which is 4 people, over to an apparatus maintenance building, and they run out of that building. So during the construction, there's 4 people, 4 firefighters in the Broad River Station. And we actually just bought and hooked up a stove for them to use because we don't know how much longer this is gonna, continue. Other than being inconvenienced, there's 2 showers working upstairs. The toilets are back working upstairs. So it's not like they're living in a trailer. They do have access to a lounge and the apparatus floor. The bunk room we didn't touch, so the bunk room is the same. You know, the locker room is the same. So,
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Any further questions?
okay,
All right, thank you. Just, I know you will, but just keep us updated on that. And
yes,
if you need any nudging from the Corporation Counsel's office, let me know.
okay, thank you.
New business, update on the RFP for firefighter entry-level exam.
So, as you know, you voted to go ahead with Morrison McDaniel.
Right,
We started the process of getting the funding for that. And we had an additional meeting with Dr. Morris, just to go over some more timelines and recruitment ideas from him. Basically, the way that they do their recruitment is through a third party, similar to what the police department uses an app called Police App.
Yeah.
And it's really the same company. They have a firefighter app. And there's two ways that they could help us out, is what they call a workflow tools for process management. Then they have a job promotion through community recruitment, which is a lot of social media blasting to get the word out through social media. So you're familiar with NeoGov through the personnel department.
right.
This firefighter app would replace NeoGov. So it's a $25 application fee for every candidate that applies. That money goes to this third-party application company. And so the candidate would do is all his applications through this company, and then they would sort out to make sure you have all the qualifications. All the communication is done through them. They have worked with Stanford and New Haven, some other departments in the area. So, speaking with Mr. Burney, who will be joining us for executive session afterwards. He's all in favor of using this firefighter app as opposed to having his personnel department do all the applications. So I don't know how the commission feels about it. If you want to,
Just
I can
to-
send you more information about it. You can read
Just to
about
add to
it.
that, Chief, quickly.
Sure.
I did speak with Lieutenant Cunningham from the police department, since they've used the police app version of this same recruiting tool. And he said that they've had some good success with it. He's happy with the candidates that they've reached through the app, and he's happy with the way the app has organized the application process, the scoring process, and all of that. So he had no hesitations as far as recommending them. And he said generally what the police department will do is to use this app, this company that runs the app, and then also do a grassroots effort within the city to make sure that there's no one that's not aware that the test is going to be given. So between those two efforts, he said they've had good success in the past with the PD.
Sounds good.
Right. And
Yeah, there's no cost to the city. It's a cost
No.
to the candidate.
Correct.
right.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Right.
The only other thing I would recommend is, we certainly want to recruit as many local as we possibly can. So if we can have some sort of an effort that will complement the app by, reaching out, doing press release,
Right.
to the paper, letting people know when the deadline is, going to some of the faith-based organizations, letting them know that we have that we're going to be giving an exam and so forth.
Right. We spoke to them about that, how important it was for us to get out to the community. They're willing to send out any information that if we give them the names and emails of all the different pastors from the different churches, they can send out, invitations. They could do like a huge online presentation on, how to become a firefighter, and the reasons why, what's unique to Norwalk and all that kind of. So they're willing to do all that as part of their program. But yeah, we're still going to continue with our own recruitment plus whatever they need to offer. So we have all the, like Michelle has all the old posters from the last test that we gave. And all we need to do is just change the date really, and we could just, send all those out all over again. So do you think this is something the commission wants to go with?
Yeah, I would think
Yep.
so. It doesn't cost us anything, and they seem to be very capable of making sure that they
I think so.
look at the applications and make sure that the person qualifies. So, it's really very time consuming, very labor intensive to
Right.
do these kinds of things. And if we can get them to do it and it doesn't cost us anything, it would be silly not to use them, I think. Commissioners, any?
I would agree. I would agree. And since our own local police department has had, a good experience with this, then I would think that it behoove us to go ahead with it, with the firefighter app.
I agree, and I'd also go back to our comments a few months ago that we would assist any individual that was unable to put forth the application fees.
Yes, I also asked them about a hardship waiver, and they also have that.
Good.
Yeah. That's good.
Do you need to make that as a motion?
You're on mute. You're on mute, Mr. Mayor.
We need it as a motion.
I don't think we do, but why don't we have a motion just so we don't have any questions later on? And there's no cost to the city. There's no contract to sign. So it doesn't have to go before the council. It doesn't have to go out for bid because it's not costing us any money. So if one of the commissioners want to make a motion just to make it formal and to be safe.
Is the motion that we proceed with the firefighter app? Would that be sufficient?
As
Yeah.
provided by Morris and Dr. Morris and Company.
Huh?
As provided by Dr. Morris and Company.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so a motion has been made by Commissioner Bentley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Correspondence, there's no items. And now we need to go into executive session. So we'll have to leave this video, leave this, and then come back and go in again.
Okay.
Yes.
Leave this Zoom meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.